The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 112. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of courageous women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Want to learn how you can change your inner beliefs and attitudes? Download a free copy of the ebook by visiting thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a special lady on today who's all the way from Singapore. She is a mommy-preneur, and she's here to share her story on self-confidence and her tips and what she's gone through and how it can help you as well. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Wan Pin Goh. Wan, how are you doing today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Hi Sheena. Thank you for having me on your podcast. Well, you can call me Ping for short. Wan Pin Goh is maybe pretty confusing for some people. Well, I'm a stay-home mom and I run a business from home. I've been an entrepreneur since 7 years ago, since 2009. Basically, I didn't see myself working for the rest of my life, so I wanted to do something on my own. I have 3 children, the youngest being 3 months old. So she's a little handful for the past 3 months, but a great joy as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Ping, what is your cultural background?
I'm Singaporean Chinese. So I was born in Singapore. My grandfather's from China. And well, I was born, raised, and I've lived here all my life. So yeah, I speak English and Mandarin and a little bit of Japanese.
Awesome. That's pretty cool. I tried to even learn Japanese, and it's kind of difficult, I think. But I guess it just takes practice. So, it's cool that you can speak a little bit of it. And, Ping, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Well, there's a quote by Socrates that I love, but it somehow also confronts me because, much as I like this quote, I would say it's a test of who I think I really want to be. The quote is, "The greatest way to live with honor in this world is to be what we pretend to be." Why is my favorite quote is because the first time I read it, it really hit me. To live with honor in the world, to be who we pretend to be. It encompasses so much authenticity, having the courage to be who I am, and that leading to self-confidence. So this is something that I remind myself and make an effort to live by constantly. It's not easy, but it's a conscious effort.
I love it. That's the first time I've actually heard that quote. And, it makes sense in a way because sometimes if we want to be confident and we're not there yet, we just have to pretend to be confident so that we can attract the right things. So I truly love that, and thanks for sharing that. And in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
Well, I think self-confidence comes with authenticity. Like whether you are aligned with who you are, who you truly are. Because if you love yourself for who you are and who you are not, like accepting yourself completely, then you'll really naturally be oozing with self-confidence. It's, like we say sometimes you fake it till you make it. So that's something that I am confronted by because sometimes we do create some parts of ourselves that we may not entirely enjoy, but I realized and I noticed for myself that during those times, I'm not really fully self-expressed. I sometimes wouldn't even be comfortable looking at the other person in the eye if I'm in that mode, pretending to be someone I'm not. So self-confidence, I think, truly comes with being who I really am. So when I'm at ease with myself, there's nothing about not being confident.
I love it. And it's true. We have to be our authentic self so that we can express who we really are. And that's really the most important thing because when you're truly you, that's when the right people will come into your life.
Yes.
So thanks for sharing that. And what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
Well, it's interesting that you ask because I think also due to my cultural background, being raised in a Chinese family, my mom used to be quite strict, and I think I sort of had to live or grew up being a person she wanted me to be, in a certain way, not putting any blame on her at all. But this was what I saw at some point in life, because before I discovered this, my life was good, like in all terms, be it from school to career to marriage. And when I started my own business, I had two lovely children at that point of time. But interestingly, Sheena, I was unhappy. I was beating myself up for being unhappy. It's like I had such a good life, but yet I was still unhappy, unsure of myself, doubting myself. And I felt quite like jaded, like I was so indifferent towards life and so resigned. So yeah, I was just living like without a purpose, I would say. That's how it felt.
I can relate to how you feel. I mean, I also come from an Asian background, so, I've always been told what to do, just go to school, get a good job, and just never rock the boat. And, sometimes you want more, right? There's something more out there to life than just working a 9-to-5 job, right? Yeah. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but if deep inside your heart, there's something more out there, I mean, there's nothing wrong with going after it, right? And you're right. Our parents, they're also brought up by their parents, right? And sometimes they don't know any better. They just know what's best for us. And sometimes, maybe they're not aware that it could also hurt us in the process. So I like that you mentioned that. And, what was that aha moment in your life when you realized you can do what you want? You can start believing in yourself and doing the things that you love to do?
Well, it was really interesting because it was something that my friend had been suggesting that I attend. He suggested that I attend a personal transformational workshop. And I resisted it so much. In fact, I rejected him so many times for 2 years, until a point where I felt my life hit a low in 2010 when my mom was diagnosed with lung cancer. I just felt like the world was like coming down, crumbling upon me. So I was just praying and thinking that, I had used all my resources to come to this point of my life. But I didn't feel like I could go on any further. I felt like I was totally just exhausted, mentally, physically, psychologically, everything. So I felt so overwhelmed, and I thought, okay, let's go attend that workshop. And it totally it was a 3-day workshop, and it totally just blew my mind. I saw how I was stuck in my past, like how I've been living my life for others. I was living my life to make my family happy, my parents, my husband, my children, and there was no me in that equation. And I realized that was why I was so unhappy. So it was like crazily liberating as well. Like the moment I realized that I could create my future. Everything was up to me, and I had the freedom to do whatever I wanted, right? Based on my terms, my whims and fancies. Wow, that was really, really the biggest, happiest moment. So liberating. I felt so light, like I could fly. And yeah, that was it. And I never looked back since.
That's awesome. And, I'm glad you're able to have that kind of aha moment, and, especially in an event like that. I know some people just don't see it, right? And sometimes you just have to go there to experience it and see what it's all about. So, I'm glad your friend never gave up on you.
Yes, I'm glad he didn't.
So what's your life like right now after that discovery?
I wouldn't say it's been a bit of roses. Like if anyone listening in is expecting an answer like, like life, things were happy ever after, or, things were great all the way since then. No, that wasn't it. That point where that aha moment was like the start of a journey, a roller coaster journey of personal development and self-discovery. One thing that hit me weeks after the aha moment was that when I had been living my life for other people for more than 30 years, the moment I realized that I could do something for myself, you know what, Sheena? I didn't know what I wanted. I was totally like clueless who I was as me, as Wan Pin. Not for anyone else, just me. Wow, that was low, yet another aha moment, I would say. When I got into that pit, I realized that, oh, I really didn't know what I wanted. But the nice part was that the universe was kind enough to point me to the right events and people for me to make that discovery. And that's why I'm always grateful that although the journey has not been easy, it had its ups and downs, but the universe is always kind to show me the right people at the right time. And yeah, so I've been courageously moving ahead towards my dream. I want to be financially free. My dream is to help 1 million orphans have improved health, good quality education, and find loving families. So it's a daunting dream for me, yet it's something that drives me whenever I feel like I want to give up on my entrepreneurship journey. This is what drives me. And I'm also inspired to share my development journey with other women too, because it's something that I took years to get to, and I would continue to work on this personal development journey. But there's some women who may not even realize that they have access to such freedom. So the way I'm living my life now is an inspiration, I hope, to other women to be able to do the same as well. So that's what motivates me and drives me towards my dream.
Thanks for sharing that. And I love your vision, to help 1 million orphans have a better quality of life. And, your dream is supposed to scare you a bit, right? If it doesn't scare you, it's not big enough, right?
Yeah.
Because it's scary. It's scary and exciting at the same time. I mean, when I first started this podcast, I was scared as hell. Like, I was, worrying to the point where I just thought nobody was going to listen to me, or if I was going to screw up. And, someone had to just pretty much slap me and say, what is wrong with you? Just put it out there and you'll be fine. Right?
Yeah, I acknowledge you for that, for even taking the first step. That's something that I'm not comfortable with to step into.
Yeah, but we just got to go ahead and do it, right? Because it just makes us stronger. So, I'm glad you're able to share that with us. And so, Ping, if our listeners, they're listening to your episode, they're inspired to take action in their own lives and in their own journey of self-confidence, what would be that one tip you would give to them?
I would say to her, live your life for yourself. If you take care of yourself, you would naturally grow big enough to take care of those around you. So most of the time, I had like the biggest mistake of doing it the other way around. I had so many roles to play. Like, I'm a daughter, a mom, a wife, an entrepreneur. And when I had staff in my retail business, I was a boss, and I was trying to take care of everyone, but not myself. So it didn't work. So when finally one of my friends told me, hey, you can't give if your own cup is empty. And it really hit me that I was really like giving so much to others, so much easier to give than to receive. I had to force myself to learn how to receive and not take that as a sign of weakness. And so things have been, the reason why I'm able to juggle so much more now is simply because of that. So allow yourself to be who you are.
I love it. And, I think that's a common thing that most Asian women deal with. We play so many roles, being the good daughter, the good sister, the good wife, not make any noise and not realize we lose our sense of self in the process. So, I really love that piece of advice that you shared with us today. And Ping, if our listeners want to get to know a little bit more about what you do, or just you in general, is there any social media profiles or any links we can connect with?
I'm active on Facebook. So if you search my name, GOH, that's my family name, WAN space PIN, that's my first name. So go Wan Pin, you'll be able to find me on Facebook. I've also created a couple of months ago, before I had my baby girl, I launched a site called Happy Passive Income. And that's like the baby I delivered before the real one came along. And that's where I would share tips on managing finances, getting extra income, and making sound investments, and also building a community of women who want to walk this journey together, because it's not easy to be able to work towards financial freedom if you want to do it alone. So that's what I created. So if you go to happypassiveincome.com, that's my blog. It's not been updated for the past 2 months because I've been busy with baby, but I'm ready to get into action this year, like this month. So yeah, look forward to new content coming up.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. I'm sure our listeners will be happy to check that out. And if you want to connect with Wan Pin, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Wan Pin's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Ping for sharing her story with us. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Sheena.
No problem. To our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit thetaoofselfconfidence.com for links to everything we chatted about today, as well as killer resources, gifts, and so much more. Subscribe to the Tao of Self-Confidence on iTunes or Stitcher to hear more stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence.